Hey everybody, welcome to Field of Dreams on NCBN TT. I'm Steve David, I'm your host. Today we talk World Cup football again, and I have a panel. Viewers, you'd be shocked. AC/DC. But DC is not here, so I'll introduce AC. Anthony Clarke, welcome to the set.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's always a pleasure to be here, especially to talk about football.
Good. Glad to have you. Dexter Cyrus is no show for right now. Maybe later on he'll join us. But let's talk about what's happening, because last week when we spoke, they were quick to jump the gun. I'm sorry you weren't here. These guys were quick to jump the gun to say big teams going home. I say the dust ain't settled yet. The big teams is going to be in.
Correct. Yeah.
And now we're seeing the dust settling, and all the big teams are showing up.
Well, some of the big teams went home, but and before that, Steve, how are you feeling? Knowing that the great Pelé is in hospital, and you and him were pretty close. You all played together, right? What are your thoughts on this great legend? Supposedly at the end of his life.
Yeah, totally sad to hear about Pelé and his condition. I mean, we all got to go one day, but I'm going to miss him. And he's always a pleasant person to deal with. He always gives you good advice. He is, of course, a great player. And
what an honor, Steve, for you to have played side by side with the master.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
And you outscored him that season as well, right?
Huh?
You outscored him that season.
Well, I outscored him all the seasons we played, because he's not really goal scorer. He's everything. He's a LeBron James. And so, but he's also was like 36 or something when he came into our league, when we was like 22, I think it was. So, or 23. So he, he was good for what he was. I mean, as he got older, he
became more of a playmaker, a leader of the team.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But hey, I hope he stays on. I keep hearing he died, but it's still not true. So I'm not gonna speculate right now. I'm just gonna do what I have to do. And we miss him in this World Cup. We haven't seen him.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's talk about, what do you think about what you're seeing, and any surprises for you?
Of course, Germany's exit, was a surprise. They were playing good football. They didn't take their chances, and goals win matches. And unfortunately, the great Germans are out of the World Cup. Look on the other side, the team that I support, the Dutch, they are playing horribly, but they're not playing any real good Dutch brand of football. Their players are not, some of their players are overrated. The number 10, his name escapes me right now. Dupai, Dupai is overrated, and yet they are in, they're in the quarterfinals. They beat the US. I was disappointed with both Ghana and Senegal as African teams. I still find like the African teams, and I have this comment to make about Trinidad as well, that the intensity of the game, especially now, it's still not there with them. They play this laid-back, slow, dreary type of game that seems to be outdated now. I'm disappointed in the US. The US team looked very good with those youngsters. They were very in in tune with each other. They did a lot of high press. You saw that the team was super fit because they basically for the entire game they were running and running and running, closing down the opposing defense and so on. And I think that's how Trinidad has to play. I remember back in the day, the US, they were not as skillful as we were, but they were always fitter than we were. So they always played this pressurizing game, which caused us and other Caribbean teams to make errors and so on. And they have kept up with this intensity while getting more and more skillful players. So I think the US had us proud in CONCACAF. I am disappointed with Mexico. Mexico has been our standard bearer for right in CONCACAF for a while. I think that they let us know. I thought they would have been at least right in the 16, in the top 16. So those are my comments prior to the top 16 games.
You know, the things that people don't realize, and as a baller, it's a good. You have to have a good blend. You have to have a good blend of people who can run and who can win balls for you and do things, and then you have your money players, your Neymar and those guys who can make things happen. So I think the teams that have gone home, the younger teams, like the US, is just a little lack of experience because experience goes a long way.
Correct.
So you don't underrate experience. And they know how to, explore when they need. The older players know when they explore when they need to, when to hold back, how to play. As you go, you learn so much in the game.
Yes.
And that is why I said last week to those guys, wait until the dust settles, because you're going to see the big teams, so to speak, the teams with the experienced players rise to the top, which is happening. So I think Japan and the US and all of those guys went home because of lack of experience. Canada was one of the biggest ones. If not for experience, they would be still in the tournament.
Yes.
So now we're looking at the big teams now, the teams with the money players and the team with the runners and the team with the ball winners come together as a team. That's why they say it's a team game, because the older players can't do all that running.
Right.
But when time to make something happen, they make it happen.
Correct.
Not everybody, according to the guys, that can make a play. And that's what the big players are for.
Yes.
To make things happen.
Yes. I was pretty impressed with Japan. I thought that game after game I saw the coach bring on his number 10, his number 9, and his number 18 in and around the 70th minute. So it looked like his strategy was to have the runners that be there, hustle the opposition, get their defense tired, make sure, and then his skill players, because normally you'll see a number 10 and a number 9 as starters, right, just by the numbering. And those players came on with the number 18 and made a significant difference in the second half, where they came back from being a goal down and, scored 2 goals. They were zippy, they were skillful, and they were clinical. So, this year I saw way more strategy from the underrated teams to compete with the Argentinas and the Germanys and and the France, even Brazil, lost their final game in the group stages. Yes, they played a second-rated team, but at the end of the game, they are Brazil. So I think it was Senegal that won the game 1-0, or something like that. So the underrated teams, the gap is closing. The gap is closing in terms of these teams being unbeatable, and right, no matter no matter who plays, once it's Brazil, you're not supposed to beat Brazil.
Well, I think the continents are closing. I think African teams are coming to light because a lot of leagues now, like the La Liga and the English, the Premier League, they're taking Africans in now and exposing them to the great football leagues, and now they're getting better, and then the Asian leagues, Japan, China, they are also closing. So I mean,
you know, I've always said that. You know, if it is, you have a good professional league and you are doing this as your job, you will eventually get better. I've always told people that, you know, if you have a welder, right, a young boy who, you know, at a young age in his teenage years, started welding and learning welding, right, from an experienced person and so on, and right, somebody would have gone to university to learn welding and come out of university with a welding degree. Who will be the better welder? It will be the young boy who has been doing this, right, for 15 years, although he has, has no
practical experience.
Correct, right? And it's the same thing. The J League started, right, a long time, the Japan League, and you are seeing every tournament, Japan, I think last tournament they made the round of 16. This tournament they made the round of 16. Their players are looking super, even, right, South Korea. They have a very good professional league there. And right, some of the Trinidadian players, they always want to try to go to the England and the, I think those leagues, you know, can be a target, an eye for, right, our footballers to go and play in those leagues, right? The experience is what they need. Rather than making an English second division team and you're on the bench, you're getting 30%, right, of playtime, right, throughout the season. Go to leagues, go to the Malaysian league, go to the South Korean league, go to the Japan league, the Australian league, right? White and Latters are there now. And ply a trade there.
True, because the whole idea is to play. The more you play, the better you get.
Correct.
And, you know, you have to. You can't sit on a bench and expect to get better.
Correct.
And that's true. So that's good advice.
Yeah, and sometimes our players come back, not playing in their clubs, but because they are in Scotland or in England or wherever, if they come back and they fall straight into the national team, but they're not playing.
Right, and they don't have that match fitness.
Correct.
Or the game experience.
Correct.
Which is all, you have to tick all those boxes to be great.
Yes.
You know, you get opportunities as you're young, but as you go, the better players you play against, then you get to learn so much more. Tricks of the trade, because there's so much tricks in the trade.
Correct.
Well, what do you see happening now? What do you think is going to happen as we go forward? Because we have all the big teams. We have the England, Argentina, who could have been home. Well, Germany's gone. Portugal, Holland, which I back Holland for about 4 World Cups and they disappoint me, so I'm backing them no more.
Correct. I love the Dutch, how the Dutch play football, yeah.
So
I predict that the big teams, as we say, the Portugal and who played today again? But the big teams, they will continue to rise up.
I think Portugal played today, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Portugal and who's played? Spain will play Morocco. You know, and Portugal is playing Switzerland.
Right.
I am predicting that the big clubs, the Spain and the Portugal, would again rise up. His show is
aired just a little before the game, but
right after the game,
yes,
right
so
will
we
be
know
aired
the
a little
result,
after the
yeah,
game.
Yeah.
But this is where I can see upsets coming. Spain, Morocco, Portugal, Morocco, and is Portugal, right, Switzerland,
Portugal,
and Spain,
Switzerland.
Morocco,
Yeah,
right.
Spain, Morocco.
This is the only two games that I can really see an upset coming. Switzerland is playing a fantastic strategic brand of football, and right, Morocco, right, they have the heart and they are very skillful players. So, right, let's see. But again, as I said, I expect the Spain and the Portugal to come through, but right, you never know.
They will come through, the big teams. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we will hopefully catch up with some more of the World Cup 2022. Viewers will be right back after the short break.
Current affairs.
Oh, what?
That's it. That's it.
Welcome, one and all. I am Gigi Love, alongside my sidekick, Mr. Ruka.
Your partner in crime, Juliet.
And we are going to be live on NCBN on a social media platform near you. IG, Facebook, YouTube. We are going to be
Sensational,
tantalizing,
thought-provoking,
dramatic,
educational,
real,
sometimes spiritual,
suspense,
political analysis.
drama.
Take no prisoners, Juliet. Don't forget that part. Coming soon.
20,000 can rise against we like zombies on Juve morning. They can't stop the garden.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. For the ones who just tuning in, this is NCBN. You're looking at Field of Dreams. And my name is Steve David, I'm the host, and I'm with Anthony Clarke. All right, so let's talk about some of what we have seen and what we expect to happen going forward, because like I think all the big teams is going to continue to rise to the top, and eventually the Final Four is going to be what we expected.
Right, which is what? What is your...
Which is like Brazil, France, Spain, maybe...
England?
No. England going home. Could be England or Portugal, those kind of
Who
teams.
England plays in the round of 16? England plays
France.
England in France now, right?
Yeah. So if France coming through England and coming way,
yeah.
they're going home. Yeah. So what do you think you're trying to expect?
Actually, I at the beginning of the World Cup, I had France, right, winning their Hubble title, right, consecutive, right, World Cup victories. However, I had England as a dark horse in the game, just because of their youthful attacking players, the Marcus Rashfords, you know, and they have a very, and then you have this experienced Harry Kane there orchestrating, and I found that their team could be a team if they clicked on the day with all these skillful players, could be upsetting force. England lost the final last World Cup against France.
Right, because Harry Kane was doing good.
Right.
But I think he passed that.
Well, right, and again, if you have to be champions, it means that you have to beat everybody. So,
but as your players age, they got to move out. You can tell Harry Kane is not the same Harry Kane as he was the last World Cup.
yeah, but as you said with Pelé, he is now coming back into midfield. He still passes very accurately, being this right receding, right forward, coming back, and spraying passes to the young guns who are running, right, like if there's no tomorrow.
So they don't expect him to. He's not the number 9, Harry Kane.
Harry Kane is, yeah.
Okay, so
but he is not the goal scorer Harry Kane in this World Cup.
So that's what I'm saying. England should, for England to get better. Here, this is my assessment on this. England should move him, drop him a little back, or like you said, have him doing
He's coming back,
orchestra-
yes.
But he cannot be who they depend on to put goal. They have Marcus Rashford, they have all the young players to do that.
Correct. And they are the ones that have been scoring, because I think Marcus Rashford has 3. Sterling was out the last game for personal reasons. Sterling will be back. I think that England-France game, whoever wins that game, wins the World Cup.
The England-France?
Whoever wins that game wins the World Cup.
What were you drinking, man? You cannot say France can't win the World Cup this time.
Whoever wins that's my
England
prediction,
can
right? We will have this discussion after.
We will.
Whoever wins the England-France game wins the World Cup.
Trinidad is back in the right team, right? That's what.
Right, Brazil? Let's see. Right, how about that, Steve? What would it take for us? I'm not going to the World Cup, but what would it take for Trinidad to reach back to the glory days of competing as one of the top teams in CONCACAF? Let's talk CONCACAF, because that's our first step before we qualify ever again. Because Trinidadians have this feeling that every time a World Cup qualification comes along, that Trinidad should be in the World Cup just because we made one World Cup.
I'm going to answer that, but let me take a break before I answer that question for you.
Sure.
We'll be right back after a short break. Okay, welcome back, viewers. I know you got mad at me. In 3 minutes into that segment, I had to take a break. I know I didn't have to go to the bathroom or anything, I wanted to bring in DC. The panel was shortened and we needed DC. That's Dexter Cyrus to get in here. Welcome to the set, Dexter.
Pleasure to be here,
You
Steve.
don't have to get up, so.
Pleasure to be here.
I'm glad to have you again. And late again. What happened now? Traffic?
Traffic as usual.
As usual. So we were talking about, Tony, you want to know what's going to take us to get up to this world-class level?
Yes.
Whew. Reincarnation? maybe?
Reincarnation.
I don't know. I mean, we got to bring back.
What's the question? What's the question?
We were saying compared to what the level we at. Trinidad is.
Okay.
What would it take for us to
See-
reach back and forget the World Cup, to reach back into the competition or making it a competition in CONCACAF, right? For us to be
Competitive
there
in
again.
the CONCACAF to get to the Dexter doesn't know.
CONCACAF?
Yeah, because right.
Yeah,
as
because
the
we
coach said
we
before,
have to compete in
correct,
CONCACAF
so we have
first.
to
And
take it in stages.
well, I mean, to the normal layman in society, it might seem that we are entitled to make a World Cup because we've made a World Cup before. But that's to the normal layman
And
in
I said that
society,
just before the break.
right? But really and truly, we have to put certain programs in place so that we create a better product to go onto the national team. That's the only how. We can't just expect for our Latipi or Dwight York or any quality players to just drop from the sky. We have to create these players.
But every time a World Cup comes around, every Trinidadian expects us to be competing to go to the World Cup. But we are so far off.
Far behind.
And they wouldn't understand how far off we are right now.
Steve and Clarke, we knocked out America in 2018. You know? They didn't play in 2018.
Yeah, but we were already out.
Right? We were out.
Not that we knocked them out and we made the World Cup.
Right,
We
we-
were already
we were-
out.
we
That
were
game
out.
was
But-
didn't make a difference there.
No, but my point now is based on what America did. America went back to the drawing board and scrapped everything. You know? They scrapped everything. And we are looking at this America team who's playing the World Cup now, who made round of 16. So they didn't play the World Cup. They didn't play in the World Cup in 2018 and came now and make round of 16. And we're looking at the senior team and thinking that's the team. Okay, that's not the team. The America under 16 team.
No. There were several players, right, that played
No,
in that game.
I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, there are several players that played in the game, in that game, like
Holland?
Pulisic,
Yeah.
right, was there, right? There were several players, young players who were right.
They were young then.
Right, they were
and
young
now
then.
They would be
Yeah.
young then, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
America under 16 team right now, that's the team that everybody is talking about in CONCACAF. So,
Yeah, no, right, and I totally agree with you, Dexter.
so now,
Yeah, right. I totally agree with you, right? Whereby, but we also have to understand that, right, the U.S. has professionals running the right football and association, right? So, right, they make educated decisions, right? You have people. Again, I continue to say that you need people who have the knowledge of running sport to run Trinidad and Tobago's football. And we have had that conversation before, so I'm not going to go back there, Steve. But those people are the people that have to make these educated decisions and have to have a strategic plan over 3, 4, 5 years to bring the football up right to where it was. You know, and Steve has always said, let the man rest, but I have to go back to the David John Williams. He had a plan, right? People wanted instant success, and his plan was to let the youth teams come up. He had an 8-year plan, but we wanted instant success at the national team, and our national team still cannot make any World Cup.
and there is no such thing as instant success.
None. So
That doesn't exist.
for me, I've always said this to the viewers, that we need at least 8 years to properly have a strategic program to try to make the World Cup again.
Costa Rica did that. Costa Rica did it.
Let me settle your brain, and then we will continue talking about World Cup football. I'll give you an example of why we're so horrible and we're thinking bad. Right now, we look at the TV, and the people who analyzing the game is older players, and we need to get the people who like now leaving the game to be that. Abu Bakr is good, but we need to get Molino and those kind of guys on the set now. Look at every other country. This is what you're seeing.
But we also need to get coaches.
Or coaches, and younger coaches as well. But we just so stuck in that world that we always be
Correct.
until we get people who knows.
Correct.
So, anyhow, let's go back talking to World Cup
Yes.
football. That's what we want to talk about. So, Dexter, I said to you guys that the big teams is going to start coming through.
Oh, he was one of them that was saying upset?
Huh?
He was one of them last week that
He's
was
one of
saying
those
upset?
talking about them little teams who making.
I got one of my predictions right.
Okay, good.
So Germany
Germany's gone.
was what Germany was
Yeah.
one, right?
Right.
And then I realized that America can't win a football tournament because they play soccer.
No, don't say that.
So
soccer is football.
I don't know.
Soccer is
I don't
football. And right, you know where the word soccer came from?
No,
You know what the word
hey,
soccer-
Clarke,
I know,
you just messed
I
with
know,
me.
I know, I know
Where
that
did soccer
I know
came
that
from?
FIFA is
No, soccer
Federation
came-
of International Football Associations. I know
Soccer-
that's what FIFA stands for.
Football and soccer are one and the same.
Okay.
England is the home of right of football, and they used to call it soccer back in the day, based on association. So they used to call rugby, right, football, and they used to call our football soccer. That originated from England.
Right.
So you're saying like if American created that name?
No, I never said that. I said they play soccer.
Well, they play soccer, football is the same thing.
Well,
But
I
America will win a World Cup.
But
I
America
don't-
will win a World Cup.
I don't think I think, you know, maybe if, you know, when the Lord himself comes and reincarnates the earth, when we start over, America will win a World
So
Cup.
what do you say about Mexico winning a World Cup? Why
I'm
can
not-
Mexico win a World Cup?
I am not seeing CONCACAF teams winning a World Cup. I'm
don't
seeing
think-
CONCACAF teams reaching far. But
You
to
know-
win the World Cup,
Correction, you're not seeing CONCACAF men team, maybe.
Men,
Because
men.
the women
Yeah,
have
the
always
Already done that.
yeah, the women. Sorry, men.
Okay.
Because you have to give full respect to the American women.
Yes, they rule the
Yeah, they
rule.
rule the roost. They rule the
Yeah.
roost. They rule the
So the same thing could happen with
Exactly.
the men. It's just a matter of time.
I beg to differ with that.
That's
To
all right.
win the World Cup, I don't think it's a lot of things. People might just think winning the World Cup is a flash in the pan.
Right.
A lot of things has to go into winning a World Cup.
All right, who is your picks for? Give me the final four in this World Cup.
Final four.
You and Clarke. I need from both of you. Final four for this World Cup.
I am disoriented.
Brazil, Argentina on one side.
Right.
I'm thinking that would be it.
Argentina.
Brazil, Argentina on one side. One side of the draw. That's two in the semi-final, and then I'm
And
thinking
France and somebody?
France and
France, England.
No,
France playing
plays
England
France.
right now.
Well, I know
France
they play
playing England next, so that's already
So
one of them are already out.
Who else? All right. Have me the two sides because I'm not right. I don't have that picture.
France, England,
France, England, and who else?
And
who
Portugal,
else?
somebody.
Portugal, Spain.
Yeah.
Portugal, Spain, France.
Based on what happens today.
Based on what happens today, right? Yeah. And on the other side is
Brazil, Croatia,
Brazil, Croatia. That's it.
Brazil, Croatia there,
Argentina, Netherlands.
Argentina, Netherlands. Okay, right. Now I have it.
Brazil, Croatia.
Brazil, Croatia is the quarterfinal.
Right, okay.
Argentina, Netherlands, quarterfinal.
Right, okay, so now I have it. So I can give a prediction now. But right, since you were late, Dexter, go ahead.
Well, on one side, I'm thinking Brazil, Argentina for the semifinal on that side, and
You don't know.
I'm thinking Netherlands, Spain. You know. I'm thinking Netherlands, Spain. I don't
All right,
think
would England beat France?
England.
Yes. Because you said
Sorry,
Netherlands
I'm thinking France, Netherlands.
Okay, so
France, Netherlands. That's what I'm thinking.
France then.
Netherlands, France. Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't think England have enough to beat France, especially in defense. I'm thinking France is a bit too much.
Okay, break down England, France for me.
As far as what I'm seeing based on the English defense, I'm not seeing them being able to deal with one, Mbappe, Griezmann. I'm not seeing them being able to deal with the overloads on the side. Just based on the fact that I'm thinking that Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, they're not the quickest, right? And I'm thinking England might get a goal or two, but I think that France will outscore them. That's just my prediction, right? So I'm thinking France would go through, and plus I think France has a little more. I've just a little more in midfield, a little more guile. They tend to stifle you there.
So I think they would play Mbappe real hard.
Yeah.
They would try to not give him room.
Yeah.
But that's the worst thing they could do, because he used to do the same thing. They try to crowd you, and then
that side of the draw, right? Now everybody looking at the next side of the draw, because the two South American giants is on that side. Right? Now I am a Brazilian fan, but that side of the draw has Portugal, Spain, England, and France.
Right.
So we look at the next side of the draw, and we more or less looking at Brazil and Argentina on the next side of the draw, right? No, well, I'm saying I'm just looking at the big teams.
Right.
We're thinking that Argentina is going to get past Netherlands, and we're thinking that Brazil is going to get past Croatia.
Right.
But it's a little difficult to call on the next side of the draw, and when you have to play quarterfinal games that are so tough, this is what prepares you for the finals. So don't be surprised if that side of the draw doesn't have the World Cup winner. I mean, I want Brazil to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if the winner doesn't come from on that side of the draw. The side of the draw with France and England and
Right,
Portugal.
Well, let me give you Right, was speaking about Mbappe and so on. Walker is a high-class defender with a lot of speed that they say that could match, at least keep up with Mbappe. And that will be a very tactical game. England defender, right back, right.
You think they'll put him to?
He is there. He played the last game, and I think he was coming off an injury, but he played the last game and in preparation for the France game. And I would like to see that. My prediction was that France will be consecutive World Cup winners.
Right.
But I've said that England is the upsetter. Any other team, in terms of even beating Brazil, Argentina, whoever in the final, so whoever wins for me, the England-France game, is the World Cup champion. Right? That's the prediction I made to Steve. You know, right, you were late, so you didn't hear that prediction.
So on that side of the draw, well, right, that's
no. Whoever wins that game,
well, right, but
wins the World Cup.
Well, right, so but that's on that side of the draw. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised, but you see, there are the upsetter for me, based on the football that I would have seen, the upsetter for me, to have three of them. Everybody's looking at Portugal and thinking Portugal has a very, very good team, Morocco and England. Nobody not thinking that England would win the World Cup, Portugal
Portugal can't win the World Cup.
I don't
They
think
have a complete team.
I don't think Portugal
Yeah,
could win
they
the
don't
World
have
Cup.
a
But I'm
complete team.
looking at those three teams
Morocco will be
as upsetter teams.
right. Morocco will be just
Here what I have to do. I have to take a break to give you guys a chance to rest your brain because I think you guys are going crazy. So we will come back and after this break. Viewers will be right back after the short break.
Hi, join us for your movie classics on NCBN TT Television Network every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. with repeats on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. NCBN Television, the #1 online television network, bringing you the classics.
I come from a place where only happy people and pretty girl everywhere, yeah. I know life is rough, but we still a smile on we face, yeah. No matter how hard, man, we don't let tragedy face, way. We could take strain, that's why when we festin', we just fed hard when we jammin', we just jam down when we drinking, man, it's strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle right now when we festin', we just fed hard when we jammin', we just jam down when we drinking, man, it's strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle, push up your hand, yeah. We see bodies we bad, push up your hand, yeah. God bless this land, yeah. So we go jam down, oh la la, so we go wind down, oh yeah yeah, so we go jam down. So we go wind down and in the air. If you're born right there in this land, where the vibes go and I say hand in the air. If you're born right there in this land, where the vibes go and I come from a place where even when it's tough, we just live it up, it's amazing. When the battle hard, we just better God, but we safe there. Yeah, I know that we safe, yeah. We gon' make it. Cause God is our tree name. When we festin', we just fed hard and we jammin', we just jam down when we drinking, man it's strong rum, eh. Pop a bottle right now when we festin'.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Guys, I took a break because as you get older, your brain needs a little bit more oxygen.
this Brazilian.
So I hope we get some oxygen back in the brain. So let's talk about, let's pick up Dexter, you were talking about.
I'm saying, right, okay, Clarke would have mentioned that on the next side of the draw, where France is playing England, who wins that game wins the World Cup.
That's my prediction.
That's his prediction, right? I am seeing on the other side of the draw, there's a collision course between Brazil and Argentina.
Right.
I am saying that once Brazil and Argentina meet in the semi-final, whoever wins that game, I feel that is where the World Cup will
Well,
end.
all right. Well, so we are
Because that Brazil-Argentina game is going to be, I am thinking that game might be even harder than the final for one of those teams.
I see Argentina can't even compete with Brazil. Brazil is so
after that
disciplined.
game yesterday. After that game
But not even
yesterday.
that. The whole tournament.
No, but that game yesterday, Steve, was you saw Brazil in their glory from how we knew Brazil used to play.
Right.
And we saw them flowing. The game, the ball was just flowing from side to side, in to out. You saw everybody running, people working. And this Brazil team, unlike maybe others in the past, the work rate of the players are so high.
Especially off the ball.
especially off the ball.
Yes.
On top of that, having the skill level that they have, that I don't think Argentina could compete. I agree with Steve.
Especially because Scaloni realized that because what Argentina on defense, they defend with 9. Messi and Di Maria, they don't do any defending. Now, he dropped Di Maria and gave Messi the luxury, right, of playing a false 9 and coming back into midfield. Now, really and truly, that's a coach with a lot of guts, right? Because Di Maria and Messi, 2 of your best players, but you had to do what is best for the team based on the game. So Argentina would have come into the round of 16 with a defeat, and he didn't want to take any chances. You understand? But I still don't think that Argentina has enough for Brazil, but the rivalry of South American football comes into play.
I agree with Dexter.
Comes into play.
Yeah.
The rivalry of South American football comes into play. I don't think
I don't think
Uruguay...
Argentina won the Copa.
They won the Copa?
Yeah, they won the Copa.
Argentina won the Copa America?
Yeah, against the same Brazil team.
Yeah, against the same Brazil team. That everybody had, the whole world had as favorites to win the Copa America, and Argentina won 1-0.
Okay, that happened
Back then.
2 years ago.
right now. Brazil is so disciplined.
Correct.
And they stay. They
Yeah.
stay.
I like the fact that TT would have put them in a place where when they don't have the ball, they want to win it back one time.
Yeah,
and also he would have taken away certain things from certain players. You understand? The movement of the ball is more important than you showing how much crossovers you could make and all that kind of stuff, because the ball movement alone yesterday defeated South Korea. Just
and South Korea didn't play badly.
And South Korea didn't play
South
badly.
Korea played very well.
It's just on the day.
They were just overwhelmed.
Yeah, they were just on the day. They just couldn't deal with what was happening.
Yeah. And I don't think any team on that day
could have dealt with Brazil.
If Brazil played right like that.
And Brazil's showing that they have a ceiling. They're showing that they could go so high up. That's you know how long I haven't seen Brazil do that, play like that, and that's literally the best performance at the World Cup thus far.
I'm not a Brazil fan, right? But I thought football got a win from that game yesterday because South Korea played strategically well. They were well on the ball in terms of their control, their method of play, their attack, their defense. They played well. They were just overwhelmed. On any other day, I think South Korea would have beat any other team. They played very well. So Brazil, but the game was so attractive. The game was so attractive. And even in some of the South Korean plays, I saw Nima, one of the South Korean players, pass the balls through his legs when he was coming. South Korea
had some real nice moments because
nice moments
the South Korean goal was a classic.
That was a good
one of the best goals at the World Cup as well.
A half volley from outside of the D.
Yeah,
it was a classic. It was a really good goal.
But it was a great football game.
South Korea got chances, They got 2 clear chances at the start of the second half.
Argentina is not going to go by Croatia.
Argentina is not going to go by
Argentina. Brazil have to play Croatia.
Brazil, Croatia.
I mean,
Argentina has to play Netherlands.
Right. Who?
The Dutch.
Yeah, Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah.
England playing France.
I don't think they'll beat Netherlands either. Argentina is not going to beat Netherlands.
I am a Dutch supporter, and the Dutch is good for 3 from Argentina.
No, both of them playing bad.
Yeah.
This is going to be real scrappy.
The Dutch it will be a scrappy.
I think that game will be a 1-goal game, and dependent on how coaches use their substitutions, it's going to tilt that game.
The Dutch doesn't have a very deep bench at all. They're not playing very well. Yeah. I am again disappointed. Every World Cup, I support the Dutch. I'm not a bandwagonist, so I don't leave my team. I look right? I love football, so I will always make, right, a prediction. But at the end of the day, I am a Dutch supporter. But I don't think that they can get past Argentina. I'll be happy if they do, but based on the football that we have seen to date, I don't think they can get past Argentina.
For me, it's a bit iffy too, but I'm not clear to say that Argentina clearly has too much for the Dutch, because the Dutch has a very good defense and midfield. I just think that up front, they scored 3 goals against America, but America sort of reached the ceiling. So, that was it.
That is the problem with the Dutch, that they don't have the attacking force to overwhelm.
The Argentine defense.
The Argentine defense will easily take care of it, and they have more of an attacking team to score goals versus the Dutch. Right, the ability to score goals is in Argentina's advantage. Right, versus the Dutch's ability to score goals. Yes, they have a very good defense and so on, but goals win matches.
I can't call it with that game. It's difficult to call that game. The game that Morocco is going to play today, that's a game difficult to call too.
That's why I told Steve. Morocco. Prior to you coming on the set, because you were late, I told Steve the 2 games today. And Morocco is playing Spain, and Portugal playing Switzerland. Yeah. Because Switzerland is playing exceptional as well.
Exceptionally well.
This could be the upset in the quarterfinals.
Today I'm thinking, today is the upset days. With Morocco?
Look at me. It ain't happening.
Well, let's see what happens, Steve. Next week we will.
Okay, no problem.
I'm here next week.
No problem.
We'll see what happens.
I'm coming back to you.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys made great points and stuff, but I think with the Dutch and Argentina, I think Snyder and those guys are still younger in the game, that is, than the Argentinians, like the Messi and what's the other one played up front?
Di Maria
and they. So, but these guys need to go. They finished. They had to come and.
That's their last World Cup. That's their last World Cup. This is Messi's and Di Maria's last World Cup.
Yeah, and like you talk about Kane, he needs to go too.
Yeah,
England is holding on too long with Kane a little bit. That number 9 position, it's vibrant. You need people who can run and always give trouble on the move. When you're looking at football, you don't look at football like me. I look at football, and my striker looking at his runs up when the ball is not even close, looking to see how he runs.
Right off the ball, yes. Yeah. Right when he doesn't have the ball.
Or where he is and how he's looking and how he gets in when right on time with the ball. It's so different.
Yes.
Yeah. I miss half of the game just watching the strikers.
Yes.
I think that substitutions is going to play a vital role today in these games, because teams are showing that they are able to win games with 15. Well, that really and truly is 5 subs, so it's 16.
Right.
We had to figure out ways to win games with 11 and then 3 subs, which is 14.
Right.
And now you get 5. That makes a big difference.
Of course.
That's half of your on-field team. Or 5 subs in 3 windows, 3 substitution windows. I think substitutions is going to play a key role.
Well, I think the coaches in this whole World Cup, it was brilliant.
Correct.
In the assessment and how they move the players, and I think coaching is gone unbelievable. I'm not a fan of coaches, but I thought strategically they did awesome, especially when they started with Argentina, when they
Saudi Arabia coach. How he set up, he was
as well as the Japan coach I mentioned.
The Japan coach.
As well, he brought on in and around the 70th minute his number 10, his number 9, and his number 18. And of course, you'll think the number 10 and number 9
Would be starters.
Would be started. So he allowed the team to play in this high press hustling mode for that period of time to tire out the opposition's defense and the big teams, the Argentinians,
the Germans.
And then he brought on in and around the 70th minute his number 10, his number 9, his number 80, and they started to run. And that is where the goals came, or they came back always and scored 2 goals against Argentina and Germany.
The 2 substitutes that he brought on scored the 2 goals for Japan.
Correct.
And if we look carefully, that's the game that hurt Germany. After that, Germany drew, and then they won against Costa Rica.
And when last you seen Brazil not playing so disciplined? Not we jamming still kind of football. The
last time they won the World Cup. The last time they won the World Cup, this Brazil team has taken me back to that time where the defense was so solid with Lucio and Juan and Roberto Carlos and these guys.
You're talking about the defense, Cyrus. This team, this Brazilian team, even Neymar is defending. They are defending from front.
Yeah, Richarlison. Yeah,
they are defending They are playing at such a high level that it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is such an enjoyment to watch. That game yesterday, I enjoyed that game so much.
But I think you know why?
And Brazil is the only team that everybody would have played. So the little touch of bringing on the third choice keeper yesterday,
yes.
TT would have given everybody the opportunity.
Everybody
to play.
Yeah, and I think too, why? Because most of the Brazilians, all of them, play outside of Brazil now.
Correct.
Yeah, so they're used to the fast-paced game. It's not like the tip how they used to play. They're playing, they knock in, but with a little pace. You can't stay with that.
I'm glad because Trinidad's football always follows the Brazilian type of football, and we had that right mentality of playing the knock here, come back, knock here. I am glad that Trinidadians are seeing the high intensity game that Brazil has changed into playing, along with the high level of skill, and that combination is what Trinidad needs to move forward.
Well, when you look at the all-round pressing ability of the Brazilian team, you see that transition football is the key. So now, when we don't have the ball, I want to create the transition movement. I want to put pressure to disrupt and win back the ball. And from the time the ball is won, I have you disorganized, I have you open, knife passes, forward passes. There's no win ball and side pass and forward passes every time. So the transition football now is, if you have it, I am going to chase you until I have it, and when I have it, I'm going forward.
All right, before we close, who was a surprise team at this World Cup for you, Clarke?
Let's Cyrus go first.
My surprise team?
No, Clarke. I want Clarke.
My surprise team, was Morocco.
It's yours.
I was very much surprised at Saudi Arabia.
That's what my surprise team was.
The first impression that Saudi Arabia left on me, I think I will remember that for the rest of my life.
Right. You remind me.
Why I didn't say Saudi Arabia is because Saudi Arabia has been playing good football. They have been at the World Cup several times playing a good brand of football. Morocco, on the other hand, is a surprise.
Yeah, Morocco is playing very good football. But I'm not saying I'm not surprised at Morocco, but I'm way more surprised at Saudi Arabia.
Good. We end right there, Cyrus. Thank you for being here, bud. Thank you, Clarke.
No problem, Steve.
Appreciate you as usual. Viewers, thank you for tuning in. Monday night at 8, Tuesday night at 8, we come in. NCBN, thanks for the opportunity. Viewers, we also have a Facebook page. You can check us out. We have an email address, fieldofdreamtt@gmail.com. You can drop us a line. This show has ended. Go in peace. I'm Steve David. Good night.